So, hello, Reda. Thank
Hello,
you
Yasmin.
for giving us our time today and accepting our invitation to be interviewed. We coincidentally meet each other here in Germany through a friend of ours.
True.
It is really my pleasure, and thank you again for accepting my invitation to host you today. So let's start by asking you, how did you come to Germany? Why did you come to Germany?
Okay. First, the pleasure is mine. Okay. How did I come to Germany? Okay, that wasn't planned at all. So when I got married, we agreed that we will not leave Egypt, and that was one of the conditions. But it appeared that he was thinking about it. So after 10 years of marriage, he told me that his dream was to explore another parts of the continent, Europe, USA, whatever. So I told him, okay, I thought like he was trying it only. So I told him, okay, not America because it's too far. Let's try Europe. And I don't know. Internally, I thought that he wouldn't do it, but he did it, and
Okay.
he got an offer. It was first in Berlin. Then I was so confused because I didn't think it will happen. And then he told me, you said okay. But when the chance comes, you have to think twice. So we give it a thought. We asked our parents, he asked his parents, and all the people that we trust in our circle. And actually, surprisingly, the wise people, or the people who used to tell us not to travel, they told us, yes, travel. It will be a good experience for you and for your kids. I don't know why they changed their minds, because one of them was my dad, for example. In the beginning of our marriage, that was his condition: you will not leave Egypt, you will not leave our sides. But
Okay.
then when he called him, he told him, yes, go, try, give it a try, give your children this chance to try new cultures, new worlds, and that's it. So we came. I will not say that I was convinced 100%. I just prayed istikhara. I don't know how is it in English, a lot.
Asking
And
God for advice, maybe, or I don't know.
yeah,
Yeah.
yes. And then I left it. So I said, okay, if anything bad happens in the process when we are trying to move here, then we would call it off. But nothing happened, and everything was okay. so so here we are. Yeah. And that's it. So mainly it was, I wouldn't say we had like a very good reason, or we had like intentionally we were looking for a new job. He was casually doing interviews because he had, sorry, this dream of exploring some other places and companies. And then it came. So yeah, I think it was more of his decision.
Okay. And how did you feel about it, or how do you feel now being in Germany? You, by the way,
Uh,
Berlin. You are now in Stuttgart.
yes, yes.
Okay. So the
So
first
yeah,
offer.
yes, that was part of the twist. The first offer was in Berlin, and then when his company in Egypt knew that he has the intention to travel and leave Egypt and go to Germany, they offered him uh, a better offer at that time, and then it was in Stuttgart. So we so yeah, after I agreed to move to Germany because it was in Berlin and I had many friends there, and it is an international city after all, so I won't need to learn German. And then I came here. I
Yeah.
went to Stuttgart, where I cannot speak English to everyone, so it's very limited. And I'm trying to learn German now. Yeah.
Okay. So, how is your experience so far in Stuttgart, in Germany? We are in the south, even
Yeah.
southwest.
Okay. So let's say the positive parts first. So I think the people here, they are nice. They are nice in terms of, for example, accepting me wearing this, because I had this experience from other friends that they were harassed, and sometimes they threw garbage in front of their houses. So there are, I mean, there are parts of Germany where there are people, they are extreme. And they hate Muslims and stuff like that. But here, actually, I didn't face any problem. So I came with this fear. And every time I got onto the train, I'm like, okay, you don't, if you don't want to sit beside me, it's okay. But no, nothing happened to me in Stuttgart, to be honest. The second thing is the multicultural people. There are a lot of nationalities here. So we met Indian people a lot. I don't know why.
Yeah.
We met Japanese people. Alban. What's
Albanians.
Albanians? Yeah. So there are many cultures. So you don't feel like I'm the only one with the different culture here, which is good for me.
That's great.
Yeah.
Which is a very interesting point. How do you find the social network here in Germany? Like, you met people from all over the world, but social life, like, you left, you were born and raised in Egypt, as far as I
Yes.
understood.
Yes.
You moved to Germany and you left behind your family and your social network, your friends.
Yeah.
Spent your life with, which is, by the way, my experience. I also was born and raised in Egypt, and I moved here like after graduating from college, and I came to Germany for masters. So yeah. So how was your experience, social network in Germany?
Actually, this is still the toughest part in the whole experience. The thing is that I had a very strong circle there, strong in terms of relation and in terms of being a variable. So I have these college friends, school friends from Yahya, my son, from his school, and relatives, of course, a lot. And then we came here, and all week I can hear all day is silence, because first of all, I'm not like a very social person, so I don't have this in my system. I cannot go to a group and introduce myself and say hello, and then start knowing them. I don't know how to do this. And even I knew that there is a group of Egyptians here, I don't know how to take the initiative and call them. So whenever someone approaches me, I'm more than welcome to communicate and so on. But otherwise, I don't do this. I don't take the first step. So actually, this is the challenge. Yeah, this is, or one of the challenges that I have here. I think part of it because of my personality. That I'm not like outgoing a lot, and my husband is the same, so we ended up like having little friends here. Yeah. And part of it, like, denial, honestly. So yeah, I think that I'm still in the denial phase. I don't know when I will wake up, because it's been a year now.
Okay.
Yeah. But every time I wake up, I say, oh yeah, it will be only like a couple of months, and then I will go back to Egypt and my life would be great again. Yeah. So I think that, so for example, I didn't go to the integration course. I refuse it totally. I don't know, I'm not able to go to it, although many people here, many Egyptian people I know and I trust, they suggested that I go. And that I'll make friends and I know a lot about the German culture, and this will make my life easier here, since I'm still not working, but I can't. I just can't.
Just to give some hint or elaboration for the people listening, what is an integration course? It is a course offered by the Ministry of Immigration here in Germany, all over the states, the federal states, where they try to offer German courses and a little bit of the German history to try to integrate immigrants from all over the world to know a little bit about the country and somehow learn the language, because Germany is very challenging because of the language barrier here. I am here since 9 years and still it is very big challenge, not only on the daily life, but also trying to work in Germany. Most of the companies, in regards to my career, for instance, they offer jobs in German only, and you need to not only learn the everyday German, but also like the technical language, which is an
Yes.
extra. So Reda, you mentioned that you have your children with you. So how many children do you have?
I have two sons. Yahya is 9 years old, and Adam is almost 4 now.
Okay. Did they also take part in the decision process moving into Germany?
Yes, definitely, especially for the older one. So in the beginning, he was refusing, like we were refusing it. But then we told him, it would be great. We will be visiting new places. We will not only go to Germany. It would be a good chance to go to other European countries and so on. Yes. So let's say that he didn't agree, but he moved along. So let's see what would happen.
Okay.
So having the kids in the beginning, it was I think, honestly, I'm not sure, but I think if you're without the kids, even either you're single or married, or you have even little kids who are maybe like 1-2 years, it would be easier, in my opinion. I'm not sure. I didn't pass by this experience, but I think that there was a lot of hassle having the kids, and a lot of pressure on the emotional part and the psychological part, because one day you wake up and your kid is crying in his room because he just misses his friends and everything. So you're not only crying in your room, you will wake up and you will find them also crying, which is a lot of pressure. And the phase of learning in the beginning, learning German. So we were learning together, but kids are faster, and alhamdulillah, now he's better, way better than me, and he's good at school. But I mean, in the beginning, it was you receive a lot of resistance from his side, that I don't want to learn the language. Why are you forcing me? And then he has to go to the German school, and he comes back. I know English and Arabic perfect. Why are you forcing me to learn another language?
Yes.
I talked to them, and then I talked to them in English, and they got nothing from what I said. Yes, they don't know English. You have to accept that. So the emotional part and the learning phase, this was a lot, to be honest.
I can totally imagine. I can totally understand. I also have friends here, and it is a very courageous decision to make, because you are resettling your whole family. You're already grounded your base in Egypt.
Yes.
Come originally from Egypt, like I do.
Yes.
And we had this solid ground of friends and people who studied with us in school, people who studied with us in university, and that's on our level. But I think it's from your experience that I also like experience that with my friends. It is harder for the children because they are still growing, and then there's this shift.
Yes.
And they have to accept it. Maybe they are more flexible than we are as adults. But the emotional burden, the psychological, as you mentioned, is very challenging.
Yes, a lot.
And it's a responsibility for you as a mom to mediate it.
And to make sure that you seem okay in front of him. So why are you crying? We are fine here. I'm okay. Yes, it was challenging, and actually I don't think they are flexible or more flexible than us. However, they are faster in learning, and they are faster in adapting to the new situations. So in a couple of months, whenever he had only one friend, it seemed okay for him. Although that I met here many Egyptians, and I knew that I can have many friends here, but it wasn't that for me. So that's the positive thing for the kids. They adapt quicker than the adults. But the tricky thing about the education for the people coming to Germany, and this I wish someone to tell me that before I come.
Okay.
That they have like a different system in education. So Yahya was in the British system back in Egypt. So I know the British system and I know the Egyptian system. And I think they are mostly, they have many things in common and they are alike, especially instead of some minor differences. However, when we came here, and I knew it like later on after he joined the school after like 6 months, that here after the 4th year, this is the end of the Grundschule, which is the the primary school, and then you will go to the secondary school starting year 5, and this is what?
Yes.
Secondary school.
Isn't there something in between? Like in our
Exactly.
system in Egypt, it's like primary, preparatory, where you get prepared, and
Exactly.
then high
And
school.
then the secondary school or the high school. No, you
Yes.
do not have this here. And starting from grade 5, when he is only 10 or 11, I don't know, he will be treated like not a high school, no, even like a university student. So he has to be on his own. He will go and come on his own. He will have to write after the teachers. He has to understand perfect German, of course, because there is no chance that he misses a word from the teacher and everything. And then the other challenge is that okay, there are many types of schools here. I don't know if you know that or not, but
it's very complicated. Even though I've been here since 9 years, it's very complicated to get the German educational system, I have to admit.
It's very, very complicated. I only had to get it because of my kid. So there are many types of a school, like gymnasium, which is the highest level of school in terms of going to college. So it's the school that allows you after that to get your abitur, and then which is the degree here, and then go to the if you want to go to the universities. But then
so
there
like
are
other in Egypt.
Exactly, yes.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the school that prepares you for abitur, which is like ثانوية عامة in Egypt. But there are other schools, yes. And then and then for sure I want him to join this, and even him now he understands that he wants to join it because his dream. So yeah, his dream after all is that he wants to be an astronaut. So how will he do this? Okay. But then you have to get certain degrees or certain grades, nota, and it has to be like 1 or 2, which is very difficult. And you have to have a very good report that is received from the teacher, and all of that I knew. And we had like exams next week. Okay, so you will have exams, and we will start counting your nota, your grades, and it will be taken into consideration when you're going for this decision. So this was like the toughest part. Were you in ثانوية عامة?
Yes, I was in the
me too.
The formal national certificate in Egypt, and that's like in our system, it's like also like a bottleneck because everyone is doing his best. You feel like, oh, if you don't get the grade, your whole life is destroyed and damaged because you didn't get the grade to enter the college that you want in university.
Exactly.
And you feel like I'm deciding my whole life in one exam.
Exactly. And this was the exact same feeling I had when I was studying with Yahya. And I have to say studying with Yahya because this is my second advice. So after you know that, you go, okay, I said, okay, it's okay. I'll be calm and I'll go to and discuss it with the teacher, and she will give me all the directions that I need. And I go and I discuss with her, and then I receive, okay, she's a very good teacher, by the way. So I really like her, but this attitude is strange. So she tells me, why do you want to study at home? You are pressuring him. You don't have to do that. You have to leave him. I understand that. And in Egypt, I didn't pressure him, but he is the new kid here. He doesn't know the language. So every time I ask her about anything related to studying at home, she's like, why are you doing this? And she even told Yahya not to study at home. So I mean, this I wouldn't know except from Egyptian people. So some Egyptian friends, they told me, no, yeah, you can study at home. The teachers will continue to tell you that, although the German people, sometimes they study at home if they want to get better, it's okay. But just the culture of, we don't have to pressure the kids.
Yes.
It gets you like, okay, studying at home is equal to pressuring the kid, which is not the case. On the contrary, if he got bad grades, he would be really, really depressed, and I don't know how he would feel in that case. So that is my second advice. So know the system, the education system before you come, especially if you're having kids in the school age, because it's really different than Egypt in our case, and I think than other countries.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I read that online, that they have a special system and it's not applied like even in the whole Europe system. No, it's not like that. And the second thing is study at home. So it's worth it.
Yes, yes, it is.
You have to do this extra effort.
Yeah, but I wanted to ask you about this point because yeah, there is a part that you have to do on yourself as a mom before coming into Germany, and there is a part maybe you can tell us more about, because I know there is Nachhilfe, which is something like the private lessons we used to take in ثانوية عامة, like دروس خاصة. There's this Nachhilfe where they do it in the school hours or after school hours, where people like me, I used to do it while I'm in the university. I teach the people in gymnasium and help them with their study in a way. There's also, when I was designing schools in Berlin, there is also this class, it's called Förderungsklasse. And supposedly, as far as I understood, that is a class in the school where they should supposedly help students who come from different migrational backgrounds. And then they try to help them to reach the same learning speed of Germans or people who have higher qualifications, to have this better inclusion concept applied. I don't know if that's applied here in Stuttgart, but I would definitely advise anyone coming to Germany to know more about it. I know there is something that's called the Schulbauoffensive. That's like a new rule in Berlin. I don't know if it's applied in the whole Germany, but in Berlin, I'm really sure there was a design concept. It's called Design for All. And they were trying to implement it in all the schools in Berlin. I was taking part in designing some of schools there. And then we had to design it so that all children who are having the language barrier, who are having any kind of barrier, like physical barrier, speaking barrier, or any kind of barrier, you know, the concept is to have a school where people are not separated based on their abilities. To give this kind of inclusion concept. So maybe we can do some research more about it, or anybody considering to move to Germany, maybe in Berlin is easier because the Arab community or like the migrational community is bigger. But in Germany, like every state is different, every city is different. In Stuttgart in the south, I mean, it's not as multicultural as Berlin, but still like on the way. Yes, and I wanted to ask you in between, because now you were saying in the very beginning that you were starting to think, okay, maybe we go there, explore Europe, but we always have a way back. So you're also saying that you are in denial somehow, that you're coming maybe for a year and then you're going back. Are you still in the experimental phase, or do you think like, yes, I have to integrate my children, they have to study in German, they have to reset their life? Do you think in a year, another, you have been here for only 1 year?
Yes.
I don't know how long have you prepared yourself before making this huge step, but now do you still think that you are here for an experiment, or is that the family decision that you're staying here for long?
Okay, no, it was a family decision to go as an experiment. So we agreed on that. However, I'd say that I'm still in the experimental phase, because every time, or like every couple of weeks, I get a new thing or a new experience that is surprising for me. I mean, I'm not aware of everything in the country, so I'm fine and that I want to settle down. No, I'm still getting to know things, and maybe it's my fault that I take a lot of time to make it, because I know other friends who adapted really faster than me. So I don't know, it depends. But yeah, I'm still in the experimental phase. So we left our apartment in Egypt. We didn't sell it like others who are telling us to do so.
Yes.
Because I'd say that this part that makes me feel like if I want to go back, I can, or maybe I will. it makes you feel safe and secure and more like open to explore. Okay, I'm fine, I'll explore. What will make me end this experimental phase, I really don't know. Maybe when my son and even the older one, because the younger is easier, maybe when I feel from him that okay, I want to stay here. But till this moment, every time he says no, I want to go back to Egypt. So yeah, it's that problem. So now, alhamdulillah, he has friends, he knows the language very well, he can communicate and he can go out on his own around. So it's much better in 1 year. Like I see a lot of progress, alhamdulillah. However, every time Egypt comes in the discussion, he says, yeah, I would love to go back. But let's be honest about this. He's not aware of everything, like the economical concept, for example. So he's not aware of that. Sometimes I tend to tell him, but maybe like our economical situation here or our financial situation here is better, but that's not in his calculations. He thinks, okay, I will go back to my school, to my home. وانتوا تصرفوا, you handle it.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure when would this experiment phase end. I think because it wasn't like a decision from us in the beginning to come, because I know other couples and other families who they were looking for a job to come here. They loved being in Germany, whatever what. So I have a different situation in that.
I understand.
Yeah, before I forget, regarding the educational part, I'm sorry. Yeah, you have to know, as you said, what kind of classes you will look for, because this was crucial in our case, that he goes to here in Stuttgart. It's called Sprachklasse, which is language class. I'm not sure if the class you mentioned is here. I didn't hear about it. And yes, he joined the language class in the beginning. But maybe we weren't so lucky in it. He wasn't learning that fast, although our friends told us he will be learning a lot. So I had like another kind of help, like the Nachhilfe. However, I got some help from Egypt, just to make sure that he knows the language of the speaker. And at that time, I didn't know about the Nachhilfe. So I think that accelerated the process and made him know the language better in a shorter time. I'm not saying that the language class is not good. It is very good, but when we moved, for example, to another school, it was better. So it highly depends on the school. So as family, you have to be aware that don't throw your kid in the school and say, okay, I don't have a responsibility whatsoever. You have to be aware what he's taking, what he's missing, because sometimes I knew that there are kids who stayed at this class for more than 1 year, which is a lot. We got the language for Yahi in 4 months. So I think this is enough. He's not a genius. Every boy can do it. Yeah. So, but with a little extra help from your side. So this just I want to say, because here they give you the feeling that don't do anything, don't interfere, don't follow up. This cannot be the case.
Yeah.
And even when I asked other people from other nationalities, they told me, of course you have to follow up with him. Don't listen to what they are saying. Yeah. So it's a natural thing that you do this and you follow up. And the second point for the Nachhilfe, it wasn't applicable in our case, because the Nachhilfe that I asked about in our city, they only solve the homework with him. And if he asks him specifically about a certain topic, they answer. It's not like they observe that this kid is missing that point, so they would give him cheats about it, or no, they don't do this. I'm not sure if this is the system in the whole country, but this was the case in our city, so it wasn't applicable, or it wouldn't be beneficial for us in that case.
Okay.
And one more point, I'm sorry.
No, take your time.
Yeah, this was also stupid of me, صراحة.
You're not not.
I didn't realize that the German cities, they are very different when it comes to everything. So when I asked my friends that were living in Berlin and others were living in Hanover, and so they are countries, they are cities that are in the north. But when it comes to the south, it's different, and not all the things they told me about is applicable. So, for example, they told me that they will not take into account the grades of Yahya for the first 2 years. But here, no, they took it into account. So I mean, there are many different things. So you have to know the city and ask people from this city, because everything is different, the education and the rules, and it's like small countries inside the country.
Yeah, that's a very important point that you raised, because really, whenever I ask a German friend, like, I cannot really grasp your educational system, can you please explain it to me? And they were like, yeah, but every city or every state is
every
different.
state, yes.
It really depends, because it's decentralized. It's not like Egypt, everything is central, and the whole ثانوية عامة is everywhere. The whole system is like alike everywhere. Here in Germany, it's a federal state, it's a federal country, so every state really gets to decide how the educational system will be, how it's applied. So it's a very actually important point that you raised.
Yes.
Wow. And so you would advise people before moving to Germany also to teach their children German before moving?
Yes. They have to learn German, and this I didn't do, or I did it like in a very shallow manner. Like, I know the words, I know how to go to the supermarket, but if I'm in the bus station, the train station, and there is an announcement that is really important that I see people running, I don't understand what they're saying.
Yes, and that's also something about the south of Germany. It's not like the north. Now it's changing somehow, but it is a German city, and most of the announcement, every sign, everything is in German.
Yes.
Yeah, because it wasn't that international before as much as it now. So it's slowly changing, and they're trying to put some more English for us.
I hope.
Yes, like in public spaces, in museums and stuff like this, because we are also a big percentage slowly becoming. So they're working on the integrational part when it comes to that matter. Were you working in Egypt, Reda?
Yes.
Or okay, what were you, also what is your background? Also, are you also software engineer?
No, I graduated from computer engineering, but then I worked in the academia. So I was a lecturer assistant at the GUC.
Okay.
So I was working till the moment I knew that I was going to Germany, so I had to resign.
Okay. Okay. So you studied also at the German university?
Yes.
So you also studied a little bit of German.
Okay, I got asked this question a lot, and whenever someone knows that I studied at the German university, so he tells me, okay, then it was an easy move. Okay, the thing is that we only take courses that is equivalent to the level A1, or even not.
Exactly.
And then you take it in the first 2 years, and whenever you pass them, you forget everything about it, because we take everything in English, and you don't ever use it again. So no, I forgot everything I took in the university, and I remember nothing. But I get the sense of the language. I have it. That's it. Yeah.
So, do you think that you would like to work in Germany?
Yeah, I'm actually I'm looking for work here, but I said I delayed it a bit until my children are settled down and everything is okay, and then we have a kind of routine, because we didn't have like a routine whatsoever. And now I'm starting to look again for jobs, mainly in the academia, because this is my background, and I see how it goes, if I stick or I have to shift my career. I don't know.
Yeah, I understand. Do you think, like, so far looking for a job, do you think that you will need the German language to find a job in academia, or is it more international? I think your field in computer science is quite...
It's better. Yeah.
Yes.
Sometimes I feel like the German is important, because, for example, I know a professor around, and she takes me to the events that they do. And they were really interesting. Like they had an event for the universities and Hochschule here in Stuttgart, for the students to come and know about them. But then I was like, I don't understand anything they say. So, for example, in this situation, I think I need German, even if I work in English, or I give the lectures in English. Also, yeah, they don't have like English programs a lot, and this was surprising for me. So in the University of Stuttgart, they have, however, in the other Hochschule and the universities around, no, they study in German and pure German.
Okay, I understand.
So yeah, I think.
Yes.
But honestly, if I have to learn Deutsch for it, I'll switch my career.
Yes, like learning German and using it as a technical
Yes.
language is like really, really hard. I have to tell you, through my experience, I'm an architect, and my career had to be in German. So I was struggling until today because of like the professional language is different. I studied
Yeah,
also my whole
indeed.
career in English, so it is a challenge, but I totally understand your point. But yeah, I have a question, maybe coming back, why Germany? Because I know there are a lot of European countries that speak English, like Holland, like Sweden, like the Scandinavian, you know, like English is more familiar. But this DACH region, also the German-speaking room in Europe, is very challenging because of the German language barrier.
Yes.
Why do you think that your family and yourself chose Germany?
Okay, I'll tell you honestly, if we had a chance in an English-speaking country, we would go for it.
Okay.
But then we didn't have this chance. And my husband, he had a chance in Amsterdam.
Okay.
But I was afraid, and I had this concern that we will be learning a language that is not used a lot, and especially in Egypt, because honestly, at this moment, I see myself going back to Egypt at some point, even if after 4 or 5 years.
Okay.
But in Egypt, we learn Arabic, English, and then we have either French or German. So I was okay with those languages. That the German or the French, no, it's needed, and it's needed worldwide. I think, according to the statistics, they are used in many jobs. Mm-hmm. So I was okay with that, English, French, and German. Otherwise, I was afraid to go to these countries. It would be more challenging. Yeah.
Okay. So good that you see this perspective, that you see yourself going back to Egypt in a couple of years.
In whatever, yeah.
What do you like about living abroad so far, Hereda? Now we mentioned some of the challenges, like the educational system, the shift emotionally for your children, your language barrier so far, finding a job, your struggles to integrate, also socially accept the shift, your being a part of your family and friends. But what is keeping you going in Germany so far, or abroad, like this expat experience?
Yeah. Okay. So first of all, the experience that we're getting for moving to a different country. So I'd say we would get this experience going to any place in the world that is not your country. And now I moved, I think that everyone has to get this experience at least once in his life, to leave your comfort zone and go to a very different culture and see how people are living, because I'm learning a new thing every day about people, about cultures, about religions. I didn't know there are many religions like this. I thought it was only 3, but no, there are many. So I mean that there are a lot of things to learn, and you will not get it unless you move. You explore. So this is like a really good part of the experience. For Germany, the clean country, I wouldn't deny it. It's clean. I cannot say otherwise.
Yes.
It's clean, it's organized, even if this really tough organization, it makes you like, what? Calm down a little bit. Yes. But to be honest, I would love to see my country like this one day, organized like this. And the human rights, it's amazing. what they did with the Ukrainians, it's amazing. I'd love to see one of the Arab countries honestly do this with the Syrian people or people from Yemen, whatever. Yani, we have a lot of struggle in the Arab world. So the human rights, it's something that I want my kids to learn, that they have rights and they have other rights to respect for the other people. And this was a little bit vague in Egypt. Yeah. So and yes, and exploring the new parts of German is somewhat centralized. So you have France, you have Belgium, you have Netherlands, you have many countries around. So our plan, I hope it comes true, that we will visit these countries as well, like short visits. So this is an experience that I'd love my sons to get. I think that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, which are already great reasons. How do you think also about, like, now you mentioned the struggle somehow that your kids are going through because of this move? How do you think this will also boost their experience in life through this movement that they got, moving from Egypt to Germany, experience the struggle, learning a new language, studying their new language, learning school in this new language, being compared to students who are learning in their mother tongue? They're also integrated. How do you think this will influence your children, or how do you see this positive impact on them?
Yeah, I see it will impact them positively a lot. And if I didn't see this, I wouldn't have moved. I think their personality will shift in a more like a confident way. So if you have like some lack of confidence, because I see that I have this in my personality. Sometimes I'm not very confident of myself. Yeah, but I mean,
we
I
all
have
are.
these moments. So I thought, no, if they get this experience, it will boost their confidence. Also being open-minded about not everything for sure, yes. But I mean to know that there are other cultures, because when I was in Egypt, and this is how I have been raised, I only know us and only like one more religion and that's it, or one more culture and that's it. Yes. No, I want them to know that everything, what everything happens in our world, and then you choose what you want to be, who you want to be. And for sure, I want them to choose something good.
Yes, we all hope for our children to do so.
Yeah, because like I'm talking with confidence, I am inside shaking that they would be affected also by things that I do not agree with on the culture and on the religious aspects. But yeah, they have to get the full experience.
Yeah, I can totally understand that feel, because yeah, it's different country and different culture, and you cannot really control your kids. They cannot control what they experience, what the differences that you see, and you definitely get a lot of questions from them now already. Like
a lot. Yeah, because they see people that look different, that behave differently, so yeah, which is part of the experience, to be honest. And sometimes I'm learning. So Yahya tells me, okay, today I got that there is a religion called X, and people do things like this and this and that. Oh my God, I didn't know about this. How can I be so old and they don't know things like this? I mean, I'm amazed that he's getting to know all of this. But on the other part, I want him to, which is the challenging part, to keep the languages that he already learned, like the Arabic, the English. So I think we have to take care of that, because he will lose them easily if we don't practice them. So this has to be one of the challenges as well.
Okay, yeah, we have to highlight here that the German children do not get to learn the English language as early as we do in Egypt private schools. We have to also highlight this, because we have studied English. I think also in governmental schools, like public ones, they learn English. I think we do learn it in Egypt from the second, like in private schools from KG already.
Yes,
where we learned that, but I think also
national schools, no, they get it from year 1. But here in Germany, they get introduced to English in grade 3, which is too old. And then it's very simple. Like in grade 4, and they are still taking how to say the weather, for example, how to meet someone and greet him. Yeah. So
Okay. And also, we
yes.
definitely don't learn the Arabic language, so it's only their mother tongue. So you are the only source for them, and I think also
Yes.
like the circle of community that you find here from Arab speaker
Yes.
community.
It's really supportive. Yeah, I'm lucky to have them around.
Yeah, you have a big community of the GUCians here in Germany.
Yes, of GUCians and of Egyptians and Arab as well. I started to know some Arab, so it's amazing to know that you have this community, even if you're not very outgoing person yourself. But then, when I need some advice, I know someone to ask, so it feels good. Yeah.
That's a very important source of information. If you go back in time, would you make the same decision, Yareda?
Oh. What a tough question.
Sorry.
Okay, because I ask myself this question like daily. Honestly, I don't know, especially after what happened in Egypt on the economical aspect.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Sometimes when I'm really depressed and I'm fed up from this amazing weather outside, and I'm just home especially that I'm not working, so I'm just locked in the home and nothing motivates me to go back to go out. Yeah. So I'd say no, I wouldn't make this decision. But then when I see its positive effects on my kids, and that we are more stable here in the financial aspect, I'd say yes, I do it. So after all, it's a question that I don't want to face.
Yeah, it is always pros and cons, and we have to always do something. Yeah.
Going back in time is bad.
Yeah, I mean, like at that time, that's what I always tell myself, because now I've been here for 9 years in Germany, and
wow.
yes, really, like I cannot really believe it. Like I moved to study my master's degree. It was in English and it was very international. And then I said, okay, I want to try to learn in German, and that was my third master degree. I love studies.
Wow.
Yes, I started my master's in Egypt after my bachelor in architecture, and then I moved to USA. I did a business study, and then I moved to Germany.
So they have to grant you your PhD already.
Exactly, like some
because 3 masters.
Yeah, my supervisor in my last study was like, "You're doing a PhD, you're not doing a master's." Anyone
exactly. Like, yeah.
But I would say, like, I always ask myself also, and I get this questioning for myself, like, would I have done the same? Because my experience now is different from many people I know in my circle who have a different life experience, somehow also a stable life in Egypt. When it comes to social life, they are growing up with their families, they're growing up with their school friends and university friends. I have a very different experience. I have people around the world. That's also why I decided to start this interviewing phase, because that is the capital that I gained through my experience abroad. Like I have people from all over the world, and I think if I've stayed in Egypt, my social network wouldn't have grown that fast.
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
And I always question myself this: would you have chosen the same path?
And what was your answer? I'm curious.
Always, like, also when I get that question also from my friends, at this point, at this knowledge stage that I had, with this information that I had at that time, I decided this decision. So based on the information I got at that point, I decided this. So it made sense at this moment.
Exactly.
Now I have a different perspective. Maybe if my knowledge now I had at that point, I would have made a different decision. That's why also I started this, because that's what I always tell myself. If I had known a lot of information that I did learn only by going through this path, it might have influenced my decision, even though that my experience would be different from your experience.
Exactly.
From everyone. But maybe now, if I'm sitting in my apartment now back in Egypt, and I'm seeing you telling me as a mom, you need to consider this German language is different. The educational system is different. And it's not very common here to put your children in a private school where they learn in English.
It's not common at all. Yeah. Yes.
It's very expensive. It's for the elite, and it's frowned upon in the community. So you cannot really do that. And you will have to consider that yes, Germany is a very nice country. It is developed in some aspects, but you also have to weigh the challenges that you're facing. I didn't weigh that back in at that time. I was like super
Yes.
excited about moving to Germany. Yeah, I
Sure.
will explore different experiences. It's, and also
Yeah.
I have this very pink glasses seeing Germany. I was yeah, people are always just, people are always right. It's the most didn't also expect that, you know. So
Wow.
yeah, I had this very dreamy, romanticized
Mm,
idea. But now I'm trying to also to communicate to the people back in Egypt or anywhere in the world. Yeah, it is, the grass is not always greener on the other side.
exactly.
I
Yeah.
had also challenges. I had also hard times where I was like thinking, why the hell did I make this decision? Why do I have to suffer? Especially like you said, we come from, alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah,
Alhamdulillah.
alhamdulillah, we come from relatively privileged
Yes. Alhamdulillah.
social standard in Egypt. And I also get this question always from my German encounters
Why?
here.
Yeah. Why?
Why do you have to move alone? And I moved here alone. So it's
Mm,
also a different thing. And I am also a minority like you. I also had this cover.
mhm.
So I always get the questions, were you forced to wear it? Did
Ah.
you how was your experience? Did you have a struggle in Egypt? And I was like, it was my choice. I'm a privileged person in my country. We have our apartments, we have our cars, we have our good jobs, but it's a different experience. And now I'm grateful that I moved here for some qualities that I learned, but also I feel like, okay, I lost something, but it's okay, it's life.
Yeah.
I made a decision and I have to carry the consequences. Some parts are really hard, some parts are really good. And I think if I was still in Egypt, I would also think, oh yeah, at the end of my life, I would think, oh yeah, I had the chance to move to Germany.
Exactly.
I was scared and I would let fear also
Exactly.
keep me from having this experience. And I always think it's a good thought, like you said. It's always an experiment. You might move and you don't like it, so you go back.
Exactly.
But
Yes.
I can totally respect and appreciate your experience because your move is not as easy as mine.
Thank you.
I'm alone. When I moved here, it was my life, my responsibility. But you are a mom, and you're a wife, and you have family back home, and you already had this family base in Egypt. So moving as a
Yeah.
family has a different challenge, and yeah, you have to maintain your well-being, the well-being of your
Exactly. And
children.
there's.
Yes, so yeah, I really appreciate your
Thank
journey,
you.
and I stand by your side every day, asking yourself if you would make the same decision or not. So please be kind to yourself and believe that you made the good decision with istikhara, with your heart,
Yes.
and the
Yes.
advice of people around you. And you are in an experiment. It's life.
Yes. Yeah, I believe that.
We cannot have
Mhm.
everything. We have to trade off some stuff to get something else, and you can always go back after evaluation the experience yourself.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I hope this talk would also give some thoughts of people trying to move,
Yeah.
that they also know the reality, not wear my pink glasses, not save them some information that you as a mom also had learning by doing. And know there's also a very nice community of internationals here that they support each other. And I don't know, but for myself, I get also a lot of information through the Facebook groups. We have a lot of Egyptian Facebook groups for sports, also in WhatsApp. And then I ask a question and somebody I don't know virtually somewhere also in German, they reply.
Which is a blessing. Yeah, it was. In the beginning, I didn't know about these groups, and I only knew about only one group. And then when I met you, you told me about the groups. I remember this very well.
Oh.
So yeah. So I think the virtual reality thing and having like the technology in our hands now, it made the decision easier. You can call your family, your friends, and so on. So it makes things easier than in other old days. You reminded me of something that is really positive about our stay here. That when I remember, I say yes, it was a good move. That we are, how can I say it? We are representatives of our country, our culture, and our religion, to be honest, because you will be, like you mentioned, you are asked, why are you wearing this? Why are you fasting? Why are you doing this and this? So I find it like a very good opportunity to take it, that niyyah inside, that you want to do it
your
because
intention.
exactly, let the people learn about your culture and your religion and your country. Because when Yahya went to school, they told him, and the teacher told him, do you wear like galabiyas all day, which is like a dress but for men?
Yes.
Did you try the camel, because I think you're using it? Oh my god. And he didn't even know what a camel is. Because
Yes.
yeah, so I think he's doing a great job, that he is trying to talk about Egypt. And even he is having a project now at school. They have to talk about a certain topic, and he chose to talk to present the good parts of Egypt, like the pyramids, the history, and the modern part. Because they thought that we fell behind. We don't have any technological things back there.
Yes.
So the technology, the good thing about your religion, your manners. So when you are really good mannered, and I tell this to my son, when they see that you behave and you're very well mannered, this means or this is a reflection to your country and to your religion. So this is a good thing, even if you're not saying anything, you're
Yes.
not even telling to anyone any information.
Yes.
So you reminded me of this, and I said it's a positive thing we have to share. Because if you're hesitant about the decision, it's an experiment, go for it. It has some positive aspects and negative ones, as any experiment.
Yes, exactly. And yeah, it's not a contract for lifetime. So every time you can quit and go back, and you've experimented it, and you won't come at the end and say, okay, I had this chance, I regret not using it. So it's an
Exactly.
opportunity. Alhamdulillah, we are
Mhm.
experimenting it, and we're grateful for it. I know
Yeah.
Yahya is coming back soon.
Yeah.
So I don't want to take longer of your time. I would have loved only
No, I'm
really to ask you a lot
enjoying
of
it.
questions, but
I'm
yeah,
really
I don't
enjoying
want
it.
to. Me
Yeah, and
too.
I really love the idea, and I can't wait to see it in action, and to see that these podcasts, and I hope they are beneficial for other people. Because when we came, and I think you suffered from this a lot, we had to ask who is in Germany. I have to call someone, and as I said, you have to go and ask people that are not even in the same state as you, and they give you not the correct information. So yeah, bravo.
Yes, I also, you're more than welcome, and I have to also to mention about this. My journey at the beginning of moving to Germany was somehow easier. I have to tell this because you moved and your husband to work directly. My transition was a bit smoother because I moved to Germany through a joint program between my university in Egypt and a German university.
Yes.
And it was a double degree program. I studied in English at the beginning. I had German colleagues and also Arab colleagues. So this kind of support group started my
It's
Germany.
definitely better.
And yeah, so I have somehow some contacts. I already somehow know the language, but I have to say, the bubble of studying in Germany is not really the whole German experience. Speaking only English is living in a bubble. And when I started to speak German, I knew the system in Germany, and it got me a different perspective. Working in Germany is a totally different experience from studying in Germany. So that's a very important point to raise. Yeah, so that's very also important. So your experience is even more challenging than mine. So I really appreciate your move as well because of that.
Thank you.
And I try also, like, whenever you ask me, I cannot remember that I told you about these groups, but these were also like helping me a lot because like working in Germany is a different experience. So the people who already moved for work had this, and they tried to give me the advice. So I'm really grateful about it, and yeah, and I hope that you also get some information because there are a lot of German points like the Welcome Center in Stuttgart, and I'm sure that there are also people who can help newcomers who have children at German schools to integrate more and facilitate the journey for students. So maybe we can, so maybe we can make a small talk about it soon.
Okay. Yeah, okay, soon, inshallah.
Thank you so much, and greetings to Yahya.
Yeah, okay, I'll tell him, and I'm very happy to have this talk with you, really.
Thank you so much, Ghada.
Okay,
Have a great day.
You
Bye.
too. Bye.
Bye.